Hi, this lesson is about factoring trinomials of the form x squared plus bx plus c. When you have a trinomial in that form, the leading coefficient of the x squared term must be 1. And so basically all of our examples will be trinomials where the leading coefficient is 1. B and C, those could be any real number. B would be the coefficient of x, and C would be the constant. And again, when we're factoring, that means that your result will be a product of expressions. And in this special case, when you have x squared plus bx plus c, you are basically doing the opposite of foiling. So with foiling, we took binomials and we multiplied them out. This time we're going to be taking a polynomial and writing them as expressions of binomials. So here's our first example. We want to factor x squared plus 5x plus 6. So what you're looking for is you're looking for two numbers that give you a product of 6, but when you add them, you get 5. So what are different ways to get 6 with products? You can do 1 and 6, or you can do 2 and 3. Now, which of these add up to 5? Well, the ones that add up to 5 is this one. If you add these, this will give you 5. 1 and 6 will not work. So because we know we want 2 and 3, your factors are going to be x plus 3 and x plus 2. Or you could write them in the opposite order, x plus 2 and x plus 3. And so the way you check that, and I encourage you to check until you get really good at factoring, your check is to just FOIL it out. And if it equals the original expression, then you know you're correct. So remember, with foiling, it's first, outer, inner, last. So first, outer, inner, last. Notice that the 2 in the middle, 2 and 3, add up to 5x, and then the 6. So it checks out. So that's the reason why you want a product of 6 and a sum of 5 when you're factoring. All right, so let's do another example. Here I have x squared minus 6x plus 8. So I need a product of 8 and a sum of negative 6. So the only way to get a positive product and a negative sum is if they're both negatives. Both numbers are negative. So how do you get 8? So you can do negative 1 and negative 8. That gives you a product of negative 8. And also negative 2 and negative 4. Well, if you add these up, this one adds up to negative 9, so that's out. But this one adds up to negative 6, so this will work. So you write your factors as x minus 2 times x minus 4. And similar to what I described before, if you were to multiply it out and checked it by foiling, it would work. You would get the original expression back. So it's a matter of being good at your times tables, as well as adding and subtracting integers, and you should do fine with this topic. Right, so here's another one. I have a squared plus 2a minus 15. All right, so I need a product of negative 15 and a sum of 2. So if I need a negative product, that means I need two numbers that multiply together to give me a negative 15. One must be positive and one must be negative. And since I'll have different signs, that means I'm going to subtract them to get 2. All right, so what are different ways to get 15? Negative 15. So 1 and negative 15, or negative 1 and positive 15. Okay, and then you have 3 and negative 5, or negative 3 and positive 5. Well, if you were to add these, that means you're actually subtracting because they're different signs. This one would work out to be negative 14. That doesn't work. This one would work out to be positive 14. That one doesn't work. This one, if you were to add them, that would give you negative 2. That doesn't work. But this one, when you add them, you get 2, which is exactly what you need. So your factors are a plus 5 and a minus 3. Again, you could have also written it as a minus 3 times a plus 5. It doesn't matter. This is commutative, so the order of your factors could be in any order. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Here I have y squared minus 2y plus 3. So here I'm looking for a product of negative 3 and a sum of negative 2. So again, we'll be dealing with different signs. And this one's a little easier because there's not too many options for negative 3. So you can either have 1 and negative 3, or you can have negative 1 and positive 3. Now, when you add these, this one gives me negative 2, this one gives me 2. So I want the negative 2, so ignore this one. So your factors will be y minus 3 and y plus 1. And again, checking it by foiling, it would equal what's above. So write it out so that you can see it. If you practice these enough, you'll start to be able to do these in your head and get faster at them. Okay, so here's the next one. This one's a little bit more complex because I have variables in all positions. So I have a squared minus 5ab plus 6b squared. All right, so you're really just, for now, just worried about the numbers. I need a positive 6 as a product and a negative 5 as a sum. So how do you get positive 6 as a product if you need a negative sum? So that means my signs must be the same, both negative. So negative 1 and negative 6, or negative 2 and negative 3. So this one adds up to negative 7. This one adds up to negative 5. So ignore that one and keep this one. Okay, but since I need a b squared in at the end as well as an ab, you're going to attach a b to these numbers, to the negative 2 and negative 3. So my factors are a minus 2b times a minus 3b, and that will give you the factors of the original polynomial. All right, so here's another one with variables in all positions. I have y squared minus 7yz minus 8z squared. So I need a negative 8 as a product, which means different signs, and a sum of negative 7. So how do you get negative 8? It could be negative 1 and 8, or it could be 1 and negative 8, or it could be negative 2 and 4, or it could be 2 and negative 4. Now, if I were to add these, this one gives me 7, this one gives me negative 7, this one gives me 2, this one gives me negative 2. So the one I want is this one, because I have a negative 7 in the middle. So the only thing you have to do is use these two numbers, the 1 and the negative 8, but attach a z to it. So instead of writing y plus 1z, that's not necessary. You just put z there. And then y minus 8z is your second factor. Okay, so that's the lesson for factoring trinomials of the form x squared plus bx plus c. Now it's just a matter of practicing. Remember, this is really one of those skills that the more you practice, the better you get at it and feel more comfortable. And you will be factoring throughout the rest of this course. So please make sure you practice this. Okay, good luck.